The roads are packed because the civilian airspace has been closed. And there was real chaos at the main rail station in Kiev. The bus service, as far as we had observed, was also shut down out of Kiev. And so going by road, fleeing by road west is really the only way to go. Many of the people I've been talking to across Ukraine can't even get out of the cities they're in, mainly because they're afraid to go outside. They're hearing small arms fire, missiles, all sorts of heavy military action right around them. Some of them feel like they can't leave. The gas stations locally have run out of gas, and they really don't know what to do. So the folks who are on this long drive west out of Kiev are really the lucky ones. People who are fleeing the hostilities are mostly going west, and they're trying to get over the borders into Moldova, Slovakia, Hungary, or Poland. We've seen people trying to get out in all sorts of ways, trying to hitchhike on the highway. We've seen people walking with luggage, people on bikes, any which way they can. This is a lengthy process, and then also once they do get to the borders, depending on which country they're trying to get into, the process of getting through immigration there adds many hours on top of that. It's too early to tell how this is all going to go in terms of whether or not we're looking at a prolonged refugee crisis, or if there's going to be stability in Kiev and other cities in the near term. That doesn't seem likely.
Russian forces were at the very edge of the city on Friday morning following a night of airstrikes that hit, among other targets, a civilian building. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky remained defiant. He said that he will not surrender and that Ukraine will have to fight this battle because the rest of the world is just sitting and watching.
I talked to a lot of people who had go bags with cash and medicine and identification papers, and the gas tank in the car was full and they were ready to go. The Russian border is on the east, so that wasn't really an option for most folks. People have been largely fleeing west, principally to Lviv and onward into Moldova or Poland or elsewhere.
I was lucky enough to get last tickets, and that was a couple of hours before the bombing has started.
I spoke to a lot of people who spent the entire day on the roads and still didn't make it to the border.
Никуда не будем уехать. Будем тут до конца.
We know that people are taking shelter in subways as they're really concerned about Russian bombing. I think what you're seeing in Ukraine now is a near total disruption of daily life. Many schools are not in session. Many offices are closed. People are having trouble getting money at banks. A lot of gas stations have simply run out of gasoline. There's just simply the fundamental uncertainty about what Russia's intentions are and how Russia could make life for average Ukrainians more difficult as the days go by in this conflict. Of course, it has the potential to explode into a genuine refugee crisis, a genuine economic crisis and health crisis, all wrapped up into one. I mean, it's going to take time for everyone to figure out the knock-on effects of this.
This is an oil depot near an airstrip to the south of Kiev. With toxic smoke filling the air, people have been advised to close their windows and stay indoors. The enemy wants to destroy everything, says the local mayor. To the northeast, not far from the Russian border, a gas pipeline was hit, with the authorities warning of an environmental disaster.
I hope President Putin will help us to stay on track with respect to what we need to do for the climate.
But this doesn't look like it was the decisive night for Ukraine's capital that some had feared. Yesterday, all Kiev's residents were instructed to stay inside until Monday, with the city's boxer turned mayor warning of Russians in their midst. The situation in the capital is complicated and tense, he said. The enemy has not broken into the city, but saboteurs are operating. To the west, the desperate exodus is continuing, with long queues at border crossings leaving Ukraine and chaos at train stations.
Many of us thought that it's just informational war, but you see what happened, and we don't understand why Putin does it.
We need help from world. We say help, please, because we're here, so we're alone here.
4 days in, Russia's hopes of a quick victory have not materialized, and Kiev has not fallen.